So, hi and welcome on guys. Today's video, I'm going to be installing this radiator onto these two heating pipes here. So this rad is basically about fitting a new radiator, but I'm already going to assume that you've taken your old radiator off, drained the system, took the radiator valves off and capped them off, but now you've decided it's time to fit that radiator back on. So that's what this video is about. I'll show you how to fit a rad back on when there's no bracket holes or nothing, and we've got to mark it all up and put it in the right place. So this is a video hopefully that will suit you if you're about to do this job. So let's go ahead, shall we? As I was saying, the difficult part is always the marking up. So this is kind of like a installation for an old rad that was here, took off, the wall's been replastered, which was what the job was all about in the first place. And now we've got obviously no holes in the walls to line up the brackets with, so we've got to start afresh. And we've also got to line the radiator up so that they line up with the pipes. Now, I generally lay the rad on its back to start with, and this is to get our marks and line it up properly with the correct measurements. First of all, let's take a look at the rad brackets themselves that fix on the wall. Obviously, fit like this. Now, you do have a couple of options with the brackets, depending how far you want the radiator off the wall. Now, if you want it as close as possible, then it's best to fit it this way with the long side on the back. If you want room to fit towels and things like this, then obviously you're going to want it the other way. So that is a long way. So now fitting it that way, you can see that it's further off the wall. This gives you a lot of room for the towels, but also sticks the radiator further into the room. So that is your choice to make. Me, I'll prefer as close as I can get them. I don't like them sticking off too far off the wall. So that's it for me, especially with this double. Now you may have noticed that I've stuck the valves on either end, that end and that end. And the reason is because I want to get the pipes lined up so that the valves are dead in line with the pipe. And we know we're laying in exactly the right position to get our brackets on the wall. You can see that, you can see they're in line. If you're not sure, get a level and lay it across the line, or even a piece of pipe to make sure the rad's lying on the floor dead in the right place. Now everyone has their own way of measuring radiators for fitting on a wall in places, but you've got to get this right when you've got the pipes fixed there and no holes to go by. So first thing, bracket on. I like to do it this way and measure to the bottom of the radiator, okay, the very bottom. Next, take a measurement of our pipe off the floor. Now, I've got two straight pipes, so I can afford to kind of cut that pipe wherever I want and don't have to have it as high as it was before off the floor, so I can actually cut that anywhere. But if you look at that measurement, it's basically 7.5 inches to the top of the pipe. So we add our 7 inches onto our, and that's the measurement we want the bottom of the bracket to be from the floor. So, little marks and all there. Now you can see there is my 9 3/4 mark right there, and above that is my 7-inch mark from there to there, as you can see. So we know that that mark there has got to be in line with the bottom of the rad bracket. So now I place my level along where the middle of the bracket will be, in the middle of it there, I get it there and there, put it there and put it right up against the wall and the centre there. So it is kind of there. We know then that that mark there is where we want the bracket lined up to be, because you can see it will be there. But up the wall a bit further, I'll tell you what I mean. So what I do then is put that level on that line there. We know it's level with the bottom of the radiator brackets is in the right position. Put it square up the wall, the level, and then we're going to put a little line from that mark there upwards, which will indicate the bottom of the rad bracket. So there we have it there. There's our line, and there's our straight edged line up there now, ready for the bracket to go on that line there. So we're going to mark that up now. So I've offered my bracket up now, made my 2 marks, top and bottom, and I know this is where I want the rad to hang, and there's the drill holes to do now. I won't show you drilling it through, it's a bit boring. I'll just get on and make the holes. I like to fix this first bracket first, I'll show you why. Holes drilled, and it's a case now of just screwing it in and getting this first bracket up and on the wall tight. Having that bracket up there helps enormously when we do the next one, because I'll put that on the bracket of the next one along where it's got to go, the centre of the clamp there, and measure it along to here. So you can see that that is either 600 if you want to do it in metric, or for me 23.5. And that's aligned to the next bracket. So I can now put my tape on the bracket there of the other side, come along here and mark the mark there on the wall for 23.5, or if you prefer the 600mm. Put a mark on the wall. Next I like to take a measurement from the top of the skirting, and it's 13 inches there at the bottom of the bracket. So there's our line there. It's going to go on there like so. Alright. There, it's nice and straight. But not that way up maybe. That would be the wrong way because there's no groove there. It would be up the other way. Yeah, it's probably a very important thing, make sure you always have the bracket up the right way, and that's it there. The groove to sit the rad bracket into, because you're going to drop it in a second. I'm just going to mark the holes now, and we'll drill those and get that out of the way. The very last thing before we go hanging the rad is these little beauties, and they just sit inside the bracket there. You just slot them in, and that's it before the rad goes on. I'll have to drop the camera, but they kind of sit in like so, and then when the rad goes down, it pushes them in place. It does stop tinking and such forth with the radiator and the metal bracket from rusting at the back. So there's no easy way with this bit. You just got to lift it, get in the bottom of the bracket, lift it again so it drops in the top. Is how I do it. Can't easily show you, I'm afraid, because you can't see it from the camera angle, so I will just lift it on, kind of show you what I mean. It's up, get the bottom ones in, what I always do. That leaves the bottoms in. Now just lift it a fraction to drop the top ones in, so up and then down, and we're in, and that's it, we're in the brackets. Yeah! So now we have our rad on the wall. The next problem is, as you can see, because we had a single before and now we've got a double, there is no hope of getting those pipes to fit there, okay, even though we've lined them up perfectly. So this is where things get a little bit more complicated, and we need to cut this service line down here somewhere and put a set in a piece of pipe to come up and match that there, which is unfortunately where you need something at least like a bending machine. If you try and do it with a bending spring on the cheap, it will probably crease. So this is the next stage of job, which if you can borrow a bending machine from someone, if you're only doing this at once only, all the better, but otherwise they are about £30 for a cheap one. So anyway, we're going to cut the surfaces down next. Oh, before I do that, for those of you that are wondering whether it was level or not, stick the level on there and you can see that's pretty good. There's my cut pipe, service pipe. Now if you've got plastic underneath the floor here and it's just a copper short through, then you've got a bit of a problem when it comes to soldering, because it would have to come out of plastic in case it melted it. Now mine's copper all the way. I don't like plastic on heating at all still, so I'm okay to solder this. So I'm going to clean the end up with this little tool here. I've showed you plenty of times before on other jobs, and also clean the inside with this end to clean that up as well before it goes on. So now I put a little piece of this stuff into the fitting there. You can see both sides, and I'm going to pop it on the pipe over here, ready for my set that I'm going to make to come up to the fitting of the pipe on the radiator. So I'm going to make a set of about inch and a quarter, put it in the bender, and down we go. We want it fairly tight, so bit of spend on there straight away. Get it ready for. So I can roughly guess it because I've done soldering over the years. I can get them kind of about right, hopefully. This is, if you're not used to using one of these guys, you know, then you may be going to have to get a plumber in. Sorry, but that's the way it goes. This is a fairly cheap bender. It's not even a really expensive one. Trying to use a spring to do it on tight little sets is normally fairly impossible, I'm afraid, but you're welcome to try. Okay, so let's get that down there now. Just keep going till it looks about right. Coming closer, I kind of grab hold of it like this and take a look at it, see if it's looking square. We'll give that a little try, I think, see how we go. So not going into the details of using these things, it's a bit too much for you. It may be beyond your capabilities, but it will need this kind of thing once we reach this impasse where you've changed a single rad and you've now got a double and the pipes don't reach. There then is my little set ready to go on, and as you can see it's lined up for the valve now to fit in on there like so. Put my valve on now, just tightening it up and do it finger tight. I will screw it right up, probably with grips, and hold it in place. And we're kind of already there now, just to solder that fitting down there, which I will show you. I know you probably won't try it, but I will go through that with you. But we'll tighten the valve up next. Right, well, I've switched to the other one to solder. I've already done the bend. It's simply because the battery died halfway through showing you that last soldering joint. So we'll have another go. We'll put it back on the camera. Try again. There you go, the bottom there. So it rises up. Not to burn the floorboards. Keep them out of the back. Just to dry our solder as it gets hot enough. I think there we go. And the top. You can see that spin round there. You know you've got it. And that's it. Job done. Well, that's around about it, guys. Make sure everything's tight on the fittings to the radiator, and then you can bleed it. If it's an F&E system, turn back on, bleed your radiators, go around them all in case any air's gone in. If it's a combi boiler, you're putting this rad onto a circuit without involved, then you obviously need to repressurise it as you let the air out. And also take into account that you may have drained some Fernox off, some inhibitor, whatever one you like, Sentinel, mine's Fernox I like. You may need to top that up as well, because you drained a bit off. So that's all other things to take into account. As I say, this job was literally about installing a rad from kind of scratch, where the rad has been taken away and you've been left with just the two pipes sticking up. Okay, well that's around about it though. All my stuff, you know where to go. They're at 33. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.